Hi, I'm Samantha Detweiler here talking to Andrew from the Bomb Squad about what to do when you see a suspicious package or backpack laying around in public. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So, when should you be the most vigilant about your surroundings?
I would say that you really don't need to be. We are, in a very good country where we don't have to worry about these types of things usually. I know that lately there's been a lot more going on. Just if you see something that's out of the ordinary, that's when you may want to see something speak up kind of deal. But I wouldn't say that we really need to be the most vigilant people when we're out and about. If you just see something that catches your eye or someone's acting funny, then that's when I think you would want to maybe just report it to somebody.
And what's the difference between just an unattended bag on the street walking home versus like a suspicious package that we should be worried about?
A suspicious item is defined as anything that is out of place or unaccounted for. A suspicious device maybe, all right, so if something has already been deemed with an explosive device, then it's automatically suspicious. And that would pertain to if, like the school here received a bomb threat, and in that bomb threat they had a more detailed description of like an item or a bag or a box. Then that, if you were to do a sweep of the school and they found that, is automatically deemed as a suspicious item. So anything that would be placed down and left alone, like a backpack, could be considered an unattended item until it's been further investigated to deem it a suspicious item. So if someone just had left their backpack, let's say sitting behind us here by the main entrance, if like school security saw it, at that moment, it's really just an unattended bag. If they decided to look into it maybe as a student missing a bag and they can't find anyone missing one and it's been sitting there for a while, then you can deem it a suspicious item.
Okay. So if, let's say you're walking home from school and you just see a bag sitting like on the ground, would you be worried about it, or would you just keep walking and not touch it or anything?
In that situation, you don't have enough of the factors to really understand whether or not it's considered suspicious or not. If you happen to be walking by and you just look down and you see that bag and there's something maybe protruding from it, like wires, you see like a timer or a cell phone attached to the outside, those are more indicators of a device or a bag maybe containing an explosive device. In that nature, then yes, I would be concerned with that bag. But for the most part, if you just happen to see something on your way home, it could just be an unattended item.
Okay. And if you do see something suspicious, do you just call 911 or do you call a special number that you need to know?
Just call 911, let them know what you saw, describe as much as you can about the bag. Most parcels, letters, or packages that are suspicious and would contain the possibility of an explosive device will have wires protruding from it, or it could be a package that's overly taped or wrapped up with like a lot of string. There may be like a profuse, like the language on there may be, cursing, or things will be misspelled. There may be a lot of postage on it. The bag could be leaking or have like a weird odor coming from it. If you see something like that, that automatically deems it suspicious. And if you do see something like that, you want to give as much detail to those items or to those, articles of that bag or package to the 911 dispatcher, and then that way they can forward it to the police officer who's going to come out and look at it, and then they forward that message and information to us. So we're usually like the last notification as to what was found or what you have.
Okay. And if you feel unsafe just generally in a public area, what should you do?
If you do feel unsafe in a public area, I would just leave. If it's due to something of that nature, like maybe you feel unsafe because you see a bag that someone sat down and walked away from, like I said, see something, say something, just notify somebody. Maybe if you're in a park and there's someone there that works there, let them know. Bring it to someone's attention that can get help, or even just call 911 and let them know what you saw and describe what happened as to why you feel it's making you uneasy or unsafe.
Okay. And what's the plan of action with law enforcement in case something like a bomb or a suspicious item would happen?
Most of the time, if someone finds something of that nature or reports something of that nature, depending on the circumstances, a local police officer in that jurisdiction is going to come out and take a look, first of all, to make sure that we do, in fact, have a viable threat. A lot of the times we do get a lot of false reports because people just want to call them in to see a show of force. But if the officer determines that, yes, there's enough credible evidence here to say that this is a threat or a suspicious item, they are going to notify, through their policy and protocol. And it may be as simple as they call in a bomb-sniffing canine to do a quick sweep, or they notify us directly, and the bomb squad will self-dispatch and come out, and we ourselves would then take control of the scene. We usually x-ray anything that's deemed suspicious. Depending upon the x-ray, what we see inside of it, if there is a threat contained inside of that parcel, package, or backpack, we have protocols to what we do to render it safe. Other than that, that's pretty much how I think it would probably go.
Okay. And how do you guys train for situations like this?
We do a lot of extracurricular stuff. We do we're required 1 day out of every month to train. So we have our own in-service mandatory training where we come up with our own scenarios, situations that we are seeing around the globe, around the United States, and we will put on our own scenarios on that and run our guys through it so that they get the experience of being in the suit, taking that x-ray, developing it, seeing what's inside of it, and depending on what they see inside of it, making that decision on how they want to execute to neutralize that threat. We also go out and train with a lot of external agencies like the FBI, the ATF. We do a lot of extracurricular stuff. We're always traveling to the Redstone Arsenal down in Alabama, and we're doing a lot of training with them on homemade explosives and the trends that are starting to develop in this country and that you've seen outside of this country, just so we can stay ahead of anything that may happen in this country. We try to stay ahead of it by training with those external agencies to make sure that we are prepared for anything that we will see. It's not necessarily going to say that we would see it or it's going to happen, but in case it does, we would like to be already there and ahead of that so we can deal with it appropriately.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to add?
Like I said, if you guys see anything suspicious, anything that catches your eye or a person acting funny, remember, see something, say something, speak up. Just notify someone of an authority. If it's here in the school, let the teacher or a security guard know, or if it's out in the open and you're hanging out with friends at a park or wherever, just let someone know that what you saw and get the best possible description to that individual so that they can relay that information to us.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm Samantha here talking to Andrew from the Bomb Squad about what you should do if you see a suspicious package. Make sure you know that if you see something, say something. It's very important for you to do that. But other than that, back to Eagle's Eye.